Hi, this is Chris Conroy, EVP of National Accounts with Insurance Agency Marketing Services, or IAMS, and I'm pleased to be hosting today's fourth and final program in our four-part series, Wayfinding, in partnership with Fidelity and Guarantee Life Insurance Company, which we know you'll find to be a highly engaging conversation with industry leaders and recognized experts, which we're certain you're going to find great insights and some tangible takeaways to incorporate into your practice so you're better prepared in your relationships with your clients. We've had hundreds of fellow advisors who joined our first three programs, and we've received some excellent feedback on those conversations with F&G's President and CEO, Chris Blunt, Barclays' Sean Golhar, retirement expert Tom Hegna, as well as sales officers Ron Barrett and Luke Christensen. You can check here with your IAMS marketer after today's program if you'd like to receive a link to watch those past programs. Many of you on this webinar know this today, but those who have not partnered with us here at IAMS know that we have a deep-rooted commitment through our 34 years in business to delivering on one simple promise to our customers: to help you win by providing you the tools and advice so that you can thrive. We're committed to winning your trust through industry excellence and leadership. This Wayfinding 2020 series with F&G Life will deliver on that promise. The promise that will help make you a better financial professional in your relationships with your clients. F&G Life has been a long-standing core carrier partner of IAMS and many of our advisors all around the country. They've had an incredible history of success, and 2020 is shaping up to be another unprecedented year for them and their outstanding products, service, and strategic direction. We're excited to have partnered with F&G in creating this exclusive Wayfinding series, which will feature top thought leaders. Today, we have the privilege of hearing from another top thought leader, Mr. Bill Cates, and F&G's National Account VP, Luke Christensen, whom I'll be introducing shortly. This Wayfinding series with F&G will not disappoint you. I also want to let you know one core differentiator about IAMS, why we're different than any of the other IMOs that maybe choose to do business with, is that we're here to build your business and help you reach your fullest potential through a collaborative, comprehensive, and customized approach to your business. Whether it's our individualized market analysis programs, our proactive industry-leading case support, or many of the incentive programs that we offer, know that each is uniquely tailored to your needs. Independent advisors are our customers. You are our customers. Today's format will be relatively straightforward. I'll cover some information about IAMS. Luke will go into an F&G product, and then we'll hand it over to Bill Cates. I'll also be offering to everyone on this program a few polling questions to help make this interactive so we can follow up with you and any of the requests that you may have. Be on the lookout for those polling questions throughout the program. Please answer, and we'll get back to you after the program. If you should have any specific questions, you can chat those in the chat box, and we'll get back to you right after the program. Again, thank you for joining the program today. Now I'd like to cover a couple slides about IAMS, and let's move on to our new producer builders programs. So for new producers, in the first 180 days of doing business with us, we have a number of tiered incentives available to you. So for just a $100,000 level, you can receive a 1,500 piece postcard mailing, an iPad, or $750 cash, along with some other options at the different levels. At the higher levels, at the $1 million program, in the first 180 days, you're eligible for preset annuity leads, 3 video, 3 consumer-facing brochures, custom articles, and many other benefits along the way. So encourage you, as if you're a new producer to us, take advantage of these great incentives. Next is really what we've made our name in the industry around, which is our back office support over the years. And you'll see all the way from submission through commission, we're experts at helping you build those cases with our very experienced deep team here that's able to shepherd all your business through, so your life is easier, and we're able to help you with those cases. Encourage you to reach out here to hear more about that and the service that we provide. Then last is really another area that we strive to be excellent, provide excellence in the industry, which is our creative marketing team. So whether it's turnkey solutions, or more traditional types of marketing, whether it's newsletters, postcards, flyers, or whatnot, to really an area that's been a greater area of focus for this year, which is preset virtual appointments and building your digital presence through social media, email marketing, online newsletters. Those are areas that we excel at, and certainly are working with many advisors around the country, just like yourselves, and trying to up their game. And this is a great time of year, as we're rolling into planning for 2021, to be thinking about your marketing plans and whether they're aligned with your goals and you're reaching your fullest potential. I will launch a polling question now. One thing that we're doing with a lot of advisors is doing a free marketing analysis report of your business. So we can do that. We do that on a collaborative basis directly with you, and I'll launch that question. If you'd like a free market analysis of your business, making sure that your plan is aligned to reach your goals for next year, that's something we do, free of charge, and all the customers we work with. If you're interested in that free market analysis, go ahead and answer the question yes. And I'll go ahead and close that poll up here. The next one is whether you would like our 2021 free marketing calendar. That's another one. Is we're working with a lot of advisors thinking about their plans for next year, making sure their calendar is full and they're ready to work with all the clients that they want to for 2021. So if you're interested in that free marketing calendar, that's something I know we're pushing out to some of our top advisors, but anyone who's interested on this program, we certainly can get that 2021 calendar out to you. The last one, and then we'll move on to introducing Luke for today, is the IAMS virtual preset lead programs. So we have a number of great virtual preset lead programs. A couple are actually testing for 2021. We have several that have been very successful for many agents all around the country while they've struggled to get in front of clients. A lot of the traditional marketing methods, ways to get in front of clients is unfortunately just not available even today. And so if you're interested in some of those preset lead programs, certainly answer yes, and we'll get back to you there. Okay, thank you. Wrapping that up. So with that, I'm pleased to make an introduction of Luke Christensen. And Luke has joined F&G in 2014. He served in a variety of sales roles for the company. Now as a vice president of national accounts, where he's supported distribution partners and their advisors all over the country. Luke has a diverse background, having worked at a leading IMO and another top annuity carrier prior to his tenure at F&G. He's a dynamic sales leader, having partnered with and trained hundreds, maybe thousands now, Luke, of marketers and advisors all over the country, now remotely amidst the pandemic we're dealing with. But he's involved also with a lot of community-based causes, including Meals for the Heartland. And he's very passionate about the annuity business and has been involved for a long time. With that, Luke, welcome to the program.
Hey, thank you, Chris. As Chris mentioned, my name is Luke Christensen, Sales VP with F&G. And here we are in the final lap, closing in on the finish line of our 4-part Wayfinding series with IAMS. I'm certain we've added a ton of value for you. You've heard from our president and CEO at F&G, Chris Blunt, our sales vice president, senior vice president, Ron Barrett, public policy expert, Sean Golhar at Barclays, retirement expert, Tom Hegna. And I know that today you're going to get a ton of value, a ton of energy from Bill Cates. So I want to real quickly talk to you about our newest index annuity product, the Flex Accumulator. I think we've got and carved out a neat niche for you that you don't see a whole lot in the index annuity space. So we're going to jump into that right now. So Flex Accumulator, it's an acronym, and the F stands for focused on accumulation. It's an accumulation product at its core. L is liquidity and access. E stands for exclusive indices, and X is a ×2 interest multiplier or enhanced death benefit feature. So moving on here, Chris, if you go to the next one, F is focused on accumulation. This product at its core is a safe money product. It's an accumulation and growth index annuity product. Okay, so there's no premium bonus, no income rider, no bells and whistles, other than some really neat twists with a death benefit and some great liquidity that we've got. In fact, I'm going to make a bold statement and say that we've got the best free withdrawal feature in the industry right now. So L is liquidity. I hinted at this being the best free withdrawal feature in the industry. We give clients access to 10% of the initial premium beginning in the first year. I'm going to repeat that, 10% free withdrawals of initial premium, not the account value, as soon as 30 days. That is huge. The fact that you know that withdrawal amount up front, it's predictable income, it's going to be unchanged, the whole entire duration of this policy, it's a 10-year policy. You can sit eyeball to eyeball with your client at the dinner table or maybe now in front of your computer and say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Client, you've got $100,000 here. F&G is guaranteeing you have access to $10,000 each year. That predictability of income, which I'm going to talk about here a little bit later, I think makes this product available for use in a non-traditional and unconventional way. And I'm going to give you some ideas on that. So in addition to this liquidity, you've got great free waivers, including nursing home, terminal illness, and home health care. So moving on, the E stands for exclusive indices. You've heard already from us on our Barclays strategy. It was a top performing index strategy in 2019, one of the best performers this year. You have that great story that maybe you know and you're used to on this product as well. But in addition to the Barclays, we added a new index, and it's called the Morgan Stanley Dynamic Rotator Index. This is a little bit different. It's slightly different from the Barclays. If you remember, the Trailblazer has the 11 sectors of the S&P 500, has 3 fixed income instruments and cash. And this one is actually an all equity play. So it has the same 11 sectors of the S&P 500. In addition to that, we've got a higher appetite for risk at 20% versus a 5%. So arguably, since we have a higher threshold for risk and volatility, then that means we've got a larger potential for gains, in addition to that all equity play. Both of these strategies are a daily rebalancing feature. So that's kind of popping the hood, looking at them side by side. For any baseball fans, let me give you a simple analogy. Think of the Morgan Stanley index option as your home run strategy, right? And with the great home run hitters like Bonds, McGuire, and Sosa, while we know that they swing for the fences and hit some big home runs, there's also a trade-off. Sometimes they strike out. So think of this Morgan Stanley index in that same capacity. You're going to hit some home runs, but that's the trade-off that you're going to make. Some years you might get some zeros because of that extra risk that we're taking because of the fact that it's all equity. But remember, this is an index annuity. You're never going to lose money. Your principal's always protected. But in addition to these two strategies, you've also got fixed bucket, S&P. We've got either annual strategies, 2-year strategies. So I think a big difference in this product and some of the other ones is that have death benefits and liquidity. This is really a growth and accumulation play with a couple twists. So moving on to the X, which is a ×2 interest multiplier enhanced death benefit feature. By the way, the enhanced death benefit and everything I've talked about is free of charge. There's no fees on this product if you don't want there to be. So we will add 2 times the earned interest upon death for anybody under the age of 70. And for ages 70 and older, it's 1.5 times interest credits for death. So think about people who don't qualify or are rated very poorly for life insurance. This is a great alternative to that. Or maybe people who just have that sleepy money sitting inside of CDs, money market accounts, low yield savings accounts, where they're not really going to need that money. I know I've got a ton of advisors that I talk to where they're constantly stumbling across assets in the bank or older annuities that maybe need to be, frankly, dusted off and get some new current features. I think this is a great, great product, and you're really not going to find many 2 times interest death benefits out there. When I think of some of the top sellers, the Athene Agility, the Allianz 222, you're at 1.5 times for all ages. So we do have a little bit of an edge with this 2 times death benefit. And in addition, I'd stack up our accumulation and growth options against anyone in the industry. So I'm going to give you quite a few different sales ideas on how you can use this product. So moving on to some sales ideas, thinking of that death benefit feature. you've got a gold mine in the file cabinet, folks, or your hard drive. And that's clients that have annuities. If anybody hasn't yet exercised income riders, or maybe they don't have an income rider, the beauty of this sales idea is it's free, and all you need is your noggin, your brain. Look at your files, look at your clients. If you've got older annuities that frankly need to be dusted off and need a current new feature on there, and maybe the clients can repurpose that annuity, right? And that's a beautiful conversation that you can have. Look, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, it turns out this annuity purchase did exactly what we designed it to do. And you know what? We don't actually need this for income. So let's talk about maybe a better use for this money today. Who's going to end up getting this money? Well, maybe my spouse, maybe my kid, maybe my grandkid, right? How about we talk about a product with a death benefit rider? And by the way, this one's free of charge. Is anybody doing Roth conversions, locking in the current tax rates today? If you ask your clients if they think tax rates are going to go up, stay the same, or go down tomorrow, I would bet a pretty penny none of them think the tax rates are going to go down or even stay the same. So why not lock in the current tax rates, convert that money to a tax-free Roth, and then create a tax-free death benefit for the beneficiaries. Thinking of the predictable liquidity feature, I mentioned how that 10% free withdrawal is unchanged. How about using an annuity to fund life insurance or fund long-term care, right? I think this product is going to be one of the best ones out there to do that because you've got great accumulation and growth, and you've got that free withdrawal feature that begins in 30 days and it doesn't generate a chargeback of commission. Also, 72 Ts and 72 Qs, anybody needing access to their money prior to 59.5, great product to do that as well. So those are some sales ideas and just some concepts that I'm seeing some of my top advisors use this product for today in the short time that it's been out. So hopefully that it gives you a few ideas. So switching gears to, I've got to mention one of the best things that we've got going for us at F&G, and that's the Deferred Comp program. I know I talked about it on previous calls, but think about this as if it's your own 401k program that F&G is fully contributing on your behalf. Your only contribution to this program is by partnering with us. We've been doing this for 18 years. We've got over 20 millionaires in this program. Had you been in this program over the last 6 years, we would have funded $80,000 on your behalf. And I did take the liberty of putting together an example for you. So moving on to the next slide, I showed a hypothetical example. If you're doing business with us, and let's say you do 3 credits. So 1.75 million is 1 credit. So that's all you need to get into this program. And after 6 years, you're fully vested. But let's just up the ante. Let's say you did 3 credits a year. Over 10 years, folks, this really adds up. You've got a retirement balance of almost $700,000. Remember, you don't sacrifice any of your commissions. This is in addition to what you're already earning. F&G adds that on top of everything. So it's kind of the cherry on top. And this, by the way, this is the only program out there like this. So we've definitely got a competitive advantage. So keep that in the back pocket. And I want you to ask yourself, we've coined this phrase at F&G, you help your clients retire. What partners of yours are helping you with your retirement? And that's something that we've made a priority here at F&G. So myself and my internal sales partner, Matthew Mundell, are here to help you in addition to your marketers and contacts at IAMS. Think of us as an extension of them. Any detailed questions, if you want us to get you connected with any of the strategic partners like Barclays or Morgan Stanley, we're more than happy to do that as well. Hey, Chris, thanks for the time. And I'm going to kick it back over to you to introduce Bill.
Great. Thank you, Luke. I'm going to launch a polling question here. If someone on this program would like more information on that F&G product, go ahead and answer yes. Great product, great opportunity. And you are unique. If you have questions about the Deferred Comp plan, go ahead and ask that in the chat box. That is a unique program. I don't know of anyone else in the industry has those. Some of your carriers used to, but discontinued them. So if you want info on that product, go ahead and check yes. We'll make sure we can follow up with you on it. All right, be closing up that poll here. A lot of people interested to know. 85%, Luke, are want more product information. Better be ready to take in those sales. But you guys have been killing it on the sales front. I wanted to put a plug in there. I don't think we have third quarter results public yet, but through 2 quarters, you were one of the shining stars of the industry with the highest growth rate on the index annuity space. So congrats there. Well, let me do an introduction now of Bill Cates, our featured presenter for today. Pleased to introduce you, Bill. Bill's a high energy speaker who motivates by sharing proven ideas and strategies at work. Bill's helped over 20,000 small business owners and salespeople building and thriving through a referral based business, and keeps the phone ringing when the referred customers or clients are calling. Bill's an author of 3 popular books on referrals: Get More Referrals Now, Don't Keep Me a Secret, and Beyond Referrals, How to Use the Perpetual Revenue System to Turn Referrals into High-Value Clients. Bill's the president of Referral Coach International and founder of the Referral Coach Academy. Bill's client acquisition system has been featured in such publications as Success Magazine, Entrepreneur Magazine, Selling Power, the Huffington Post, and the Wall Street Journal. Bill's seminars are high energy and high content. Today, he'll be featuring his presentation, Multiply Your Clients, Your Best Clients in a Virtual World. Certainly a topic today more relevant than ever amidst our COVID-19 challenges. Bill, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Appreciate the chance to be here.
Absolutely. I'm going to be switching this over to you, Bill. Hopefully you'll see that here in a second. I'll let you drive from here forward.
Yeah, let me just show my screen here. Why is this not coming up? There we go. All right, you can see my screen?
Perfect. Take it away, Bill.
Beautiful. Yeah, let's go. Hope you guys are ready to take lots of notes, unless you're driving, of course. I get into the content very quickly. We don't have a lot of time here, so I want to cover as much as I can, get ready to write fast. You'll be able to get the slides. I'll tell you how to do that in a minute if you want. So, you know, just to give you a sense of where I've come from and how this I think will help you is, you know, I've been doing this 25 years, and when I first got hired by advisors for coaching or for companies to speak to their folks, we focused on asking for referrals, and we found out that a lot of people really weren't referable in the first place. So then we had to focus on client engagement and building better relationships. People were a little bit too transactional. Then the do not call regulations come in and all the other barriers there are to get through to people. We started focusing on introductions. And so one takeaway real quick, whenever you're talking to a prospect, a client, a center of influence, anyone who has the potential to introduce you to someone, please use the word introductions, because that's what you want. You want to get connected. We'll talk a little more about that in a minute. And then, of course, you know what the introduction does, it gives you borrowed trust, and that borrowed trust will take you into the new relationship. Usually it's enough, not always, but usually enough to get that person on the phone or a Zoom. And then we've got to carry our own message forward. And that's why I wrote my latest book, Radical Relevance, which is about your messaging and how to deliver more compelling and more relevant messaging to keep that relationship moving forward. And of course, the straightest line to relevance with a prospect, with someone who doesn't know you, is an introduction from someone who they do trust, right? The way of the world is meeting people through other people, and the referral, the introduction, is the warm way we get into their lives. So why referrals? Well, you know, the borrowed trust, that's what I mentioned. And from there, of course, everything gets a lot easier. One I want to focus on, the 2 bottom ones, is reaching higher level clients. If you want to move up market, if that's a desire for you, if you want to get referred up, then you know you need to use the referral process properly. That's how you will move into that market, is referrals. And then studies have shown that clients that come into a financial practice through a referral or an introduction is 2.5 times more likely to give referrals. And it makes sense, they'd be a little more predisposed to engage in what brought them to you. And so what happens over time is it creates a life of its own. It's a snowball, a cumulative effect. It gets easier and easier and easier to get referrals and introductions. But as I mentioned, not just referrals, introductions, because we got to get connected, right? So make sure you're going to hear me use the word referrals a lot here today. Old habits die hard, but I'm trying to say referrals / introductions. So if you want to get the slides, I'm going to give you some very specific verbiage here. I do recommend that you just send an email to me. It's Bill Cates, not Bill Gates, we wish. Bill Cates at referralcoach.com, and just put F&G or IAMS or both in the subject line, and I'll know what deck to send to you. I'm doing 3 of these today. I want to make sure I send you the right slides. So I'll repeat this again later if you missed it. And of course, I want to say thank you to IAMS and to F&G for the opportunity to present to you here it's my pleasure to try to bring some value. So here's our agenda. It's our agenda for today, and 3 words that can change the trajectory of your practice forever. The first one is engagement, making sure that we have highly referable relationships, right? That we are referable in the first place, that we create that sense of engagement. And then leverage, right? Then you leverage by promoting and asking for introductions in the appropriate way. And then you get connected, you get introduced, and then you create that sense of engagement with new prospects that become new clients. And you truly can create a perpetual flow of new, good quality prospects and clients coming into your world. You just have to make sure you engage and you're appropriately proactive with leverage, and then you get connected. So let's play those out a little bit. All right, so let's talk a little bit about your referability. How do you know you're referable in the first place? Well, everyone on this call, myself included, should be getting referrals without asking for them. Unsolicited referrals, unprompted referrals. That's a barometer of our referability. I was speaking once to a group, and a guy came up to me afterwards and says, Bill, I've been in this business for a long time, and I've got to say, I haven't gotten many unsolicited referrals. Now, I had to catch a flight, so I didn't have time for the therapy that would ensue as to why this guy wasn't as referable as he thought he was. Let me tell you who gives referrals. What does it take to become referable? So Julie, the little child out of Toronto, Canada, revisits this study every couple of years, and she found that there's actually, while satisfied clients are highly loyal, there's a low correlation with actually giving referrals and introductions. You got to get to a higher level. Engaged clients, 100% loyal, and 98% gave referrals, made introductions the preceding 12 years. So who gives referrals? Who makes introductions? Engaged clients. All right, Bill, what's an engaged client? Well, I'm glad you asked. So you're already doing this, and I just want to shed some light and give you a few ideas to do it even better. And that is, first of all, to make a value connection. Obviously, the questions you ask provide value. The things you teach provide value. The products that become part of the relationship, those provide value. Your responsive service, those provide value. And of course, you have to keep providing value or you're no longer relevant in their life. And then, of course, the personal connection. We know that all things being equal, people do business with people they like. All things not being equal, people still do business with people they like. And I found a lot of advisors don't always strengthen this area as well as they could and maintain that over time. So here's the client journey, right? The 3 stages of the client journey on 3 unequal stages. The first one is the prospect experience. So you've got to make sure that you're creating a value connection and a personal connection within the prospect experience so that you win the business and you also become more referable more quickly with this new prospect. Then the new client experience, the onboarding experience that you provide to people. Again, connecting with value and making the personal connection. And of course, the ongoing, which is the longest part of the relationship. Again, how are we looking for ways to keep connecting with value and keep building the personal connection? So with prospects, in terms of personal connection, the easiest, the best, the most powerful is to focus on your client-focused why. Now, what do I mean by a client-focused why? It's not that you got in this business because you like sales or you like finance and you can make good money and you like a flexible schedule. Nothing wrong with those things. Those are all great things, but that's your why of you, right? I'm talking about why you believe in the value that you bring. I just watched a video a little bit earlier today from a very high-level advisor, and he's got a beautiful video he created on his why, on his client-focused why, about his grandfather dying without life insurance. They lost the farm. His father actually got into the insurance business. Now he's in it. His father died young in life, but left life insurance. So he's got his own personal story. So it could be why you got started in the business, because maybe something happened to you or a family member like that. Could be why you're still in the business if you're a veteran, why you're still at it, why you went independent, why you're with your current firm, right? All the various whys there. And this is something you want to communicate very early in a brand new relationship. There's usually a story here, right? It's a little anecdote. Don't make it too long, but it goes like this. George, that's a little bit about what we do, a little bit about our process, and we'll go into more depth on that and how we do it. I want to shift gears for a second, tell you a little bit about why I do this, what drives me every day in this business. And then you go into that little anecdote, that little aha moment that you had somewhere in your life where you realize this is important work. And I'm going to tell you, people will lean into that. They will listen to you differently. Some of you on this call already do that, and you know what I'm talking about. So please make sure that you have this client-focused why. This is what creates that personal connection. If you're going to ask for permission to have influence on someone's current and future financial life, then they've got to get a sense of who you are, and this builds that likability and that trustability as well. Al
Yeah,
Fox,
Chris there. Chris, just, yeah, I gotta tell you, that's resonates with me. Just, we work with advisors day in and day out here. And I would say amidst the COVID crisis and be able to, a lot of people doing business here virtually through some of our programs, that personal connection, personal story is even more important when you can't see them eyeball to eyeball
exactly.
and shake their hands. So, I mean, do you have thoughts about that? I know you're going to get into a little bit soon here, but just, is that even more important today?
It is more important. You always want to do Zoom or camera if over phone if you can. I know some people are zoomed out and not everybody uses it, but that's better than not having the visual. And then you want to connect. So how do we connect? Well, one of the ways is the why. Now, what a lot of advisors do, they'll just state it, and then you look into the camera, so you're making eye contact with that person who's looking at the screen, and you deliver it. Now, a lot of folks will actually create little videos or just have little statements on their homepage. This is something you can actually send before the first appointment, so they get a feel for your why, for why you really believe in the work that you do. I've actually seen some advisors have other people on their staff, on their team, create their videos, even if they're support, right? They're supporting you, supporting your clients, and they have their why. And so I've seen people use this in a lot of different ways. Another way that we connect in this virtual world, you all know about writing handwritten notes, right? This is nothing new, but a handwritten note is still perceived as a personal contact. Even though it's not face-to-face, it's different than an email, obviously. And so I'm encouraging folks to write more handwritten notes to their clients during this virtual time, because again, that's another type of connection. I want to share this with Al Fox. Al Fox, you're going to see in very light type below this, it says $1 billion. I've been coaching Al for 7 years. He just went over the 1 billion AUM mark, and I'm going to be seeing him tomorrow actually at a mastermind meeting we're doing. And when he got in touch with his why, that aha moment, and then made sure everyone on the team got in touch with that as well, and then their own why, he says that's when things really started kicking into high gear for him, because he realized that how powerful that is. So I want to really encourage you to do that. If you like the idea of doing this, you want to go a little deeper, I've got a free report, emphasis on free. If you go to referralcoach.com/resources, you can download that and a little bit more information on the personal why. So or the client focused why. So the onboarding experience. This is a lot of the folks don't talk about it. I was coaching a couple of partners. They just become an RIA out on the West Coast, and I said, "Tell me about your onboarding process." And they said, "Well, we enter everything into the CRM and we do that." And no, I'm talking about client-facing onboarding, welcoming them down the metaphorical red carpet into your practice. And they go, "Oh, we never really thought about that." So remember, we're trying to connect in two levels, right? The value added level, we're making a value connection. And so there's lots of things you can do to keep adding the value, especially early on, that first month or so or 2 months of that brand new relationship. Help them feel onboarded, welcomed, right? And then there's the stuff that's the personal connection as well. And you can't do the lunch right now like you'll be able to do hopefully soon, especially if this vaccine takes hold, but you can certainly do social things on Zoom. A lot of advisors now are doing social things on Zoom and the other platforms. But remember, we're trying to create that wow experience. So Rod Gibbings out of British Columbia has something he titled it the transition navigator. Let me tell you real quick. We know that when someone signs the papers for an insurance policy, to transfer assets, to do a financial plan, then there's a little lag time, particularly with insurance and the investments, or even doing the plan, right? And so sometimes clients he found they're a little anxious. Did I choose the right firm? You know, is it going to go as smoothly as it seems like it's going to go? And so this transition navigator is just simply a checklist to make sure he's staying in touch with in a hyper vigilant way until, you know, things start to get to the assets get transferred, the policy gets approved, et cetera, et cetera. And he says, when you treat your brand new clients like this, you know, it validates the decision. He is getting a lot of unsolicited referrals, I should say introductions, in this transition period because of how he stay in touch with folks, how he has this robust onboarding process. And then, of course, the ongoing experience. You want to make sure that your client service promise is robust in this area. Now, you all know about the concept of working in your business versus working on your business. Right now, we're working on the business for a few more minutes. But I think the same is true in terms of our relationships. Most of the time, we're working in our client relationships. And every now and then, we need to take a little time out, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, and work on the relationship. And that's what I call my value discussion. I've been teaching this for 25 years, and all the things I teach, this is probably the most important because this will make a huge difference when you create a culture and environment of doing business where you're checking in on a regular basis to make sure expectations are being met. Man, the last thing you want is a relationship where they have an expectation and you don't even know about it, and then you're not meeting it because you didn't know about it, right? Ever been there? And so we don't want that to happen. It creates stronger engagement. I've seen this create referrals without asking. And then because of the engagement, clients are more receptive. This is a check-in. Now, there's a lot of different places you can do this. I'll give you a couple of examples. And again, you can get the slides to look at the verbiage and then adjust it for yourself. But, you know, decision to work with you. You know, you made an important decisions. I know you were considering a couple different options, or, you know, there was a lot to consider. What made you decide to move forward, or what made you decide to move forward with us? And of course, they're going to validate their decision, which is good, by speaking it out to you. And now you know you are becoming referable. This is a leverageable moment. And this is creating that sense of engagement with your value. At a deliverable, any kind of deliverable, we've been through a process to get to this point, have we not? Can you tell me the value you believe you've gotten from the process? So we're making it about the process. Notice these are open-ended questions. It's not, did you find the meeting helpful? Have you found the process helpful? Yes, no. Even if they didn't, out of politeness, they'll say yes. So you want them to get in touch with it. So you're asking open-ended questions. Review meeting. Let's put the market and the economy and the pandemic aside for a minute. Let's talk about something we can control. Our overall communication, overall working relationship, anything not working I should know about. Once you're about 6 months or so into this new relationship and then beyond, you want to start checking to see if there's anything not working, right? Because if it's there, you want to make sure you fix it, vent it, you know, get it out, get the charge off of it. Most of the times there isn't going to be anything not working. And some folks would just, your clients will just automatically pivot into what is working. They'll say, oh no, we always feel better after we talk to you, or we love the way you explain things, and all this good stuff, right? You'll hear this. And again, this is creating that feeling of engagement. You are now knowing you are becoming referable. And this value discussion is actually the first step in a possible ask for introductions. You don't have to ask every time. You shouldn't ask every time, but you should do the value discussion on a pretty regular basis. Just one very specific example, Ann out of Phoenix, very first time she used this technique, she got a referral to a $1.3 million client just from the value discussion. This happens all the time with folks who use this simple little strategy. So you can make it about the meeting, right? Whatever meeting it is. Tell me the value you feel you've gotten from this meeting. We've covered a lot of things today. Tell me what stands out as the most important. You can make it about the decision to move forward, as I displayed. You can make it about the process, make it about the relationship. You know, the first time you make it about the relationship, the next time you get together, maybe you just make it about the meeting, right? Because you already had that one the last time you met. And you vary these from time to time. So this value check-in is just absolutely critical.
Yeah, Bill, great
Chris.
insights there. Just I'll throw in our input here as well as absolutely hearken those points about one, the value of open-ended questions. And I think it's very easy for us all to fall in the trap of just kind of having yes/no type of questions, and it's important to have them open-ended so you're getting the opportunity for the client to speak. The other one is the power of listening. And all of us being in sales, we're great at speaking, and frankly, we need to get better at listening And really, that's a great way of showing value to the client, particularly, like I said, amidst COVID-19. The more you can get them speaking, the more value they feel like they're getting, and also there's a better personal connection if you can't get in front of them and live. But with that,
Yeah.
move on to strategy 2.
Yeah, and if you catch yourself asking a closed-ended question, if you say, have you found this meeting or this process to be helpful, just catch yourself and say, have you found this meeting to be helpful? And if so, tell me more, or what in what ways, right? So there's a lot of different ways you can catch yourself and make it back to an open-ended. My mantra when I'm talking with prospects is shut up, shut up, shut up. Not to the prospect, to me, right? To make sure I'm a better listener.
Right.
So two things: promoting. Sometimes I call it planting seeds, because these are things you can do early and often throughout a relationship. I've been teaching this forever. One of the titles of my book is "Don't Keep Me a Secret." It's a fun little thing. I know it doesn't fit everybody. Some people say, "Well, I could never say that," and other people just love it. So don't worry, we got a couple others. But this is a simple little thing, goes into their unconscious. You can have fun with this. Hey, please don't keep me a secret out there. Oh yeah, definitely keep you in mind. And sometimes you see how they react to it, and you see whether you got someone that might very well be open to doing this maybe next time you get together. This is a one that I kind of put together when in March, when COVID and market crash hit, but I think it's a good one you can use forever. And it's simply this, George, if you ever sense any family members or friends or colleagues are feeling unsettled with what's going on in the economy, in the market, in the world in general, with the unpredictability, always happy to have a chat, never too busy to see if I can be of service or help in any way, right? Making sure they're touching all the bases, making sure they're invested properly. You can adjust this: concerned, disturbed, stressed, upset, and make this your own. But this is a simple way to plant the seed. Don't be surprised if sometimes it turns into a referral/introduction right on the spot, because it will trigger them to think of someone. And if not, at least they know you're open for business. I was having dinner with my outside dinner in Maryland here with my advisor about 3 weeks ago, Aaron, and he said to me, Bill, I'm going to tell you something. You're going to be disappointed in me. Okay, all right, what is it, Aaron? He says, well, I had a client in the office earlier today, said to me, by the way, Aaron, are you still taking on new clients? I go, yeah, that's not good to hear from your clients, is it? Especially A clients, right? He goes, no, not good, right? So we want to let our A clients know that we're never too busy to see if we can be a resource for others, that they know we're taking on new clients, especially if they're like them, right? Never too busy to see if I can be a resource. Those are the qualifying words. People brand new, take that out. Never too busy to be a resource, never too busy to talk to, right? They fog a mirror, they're breathing, you'll talk to them. But once you're a little more successful in this business and you're a little more selective, never too busy to see if I can be a resource. So you always want to let your clients know that you may or may not be the right person to serve who they send to you. And so they already have that expectation that you may not be the one. And if you have a partner, a junior advisor, whatever, who is the right person, great. They get referred to someone else and they get helped. So very important. Probably the most powerful way to actually promote introductions is to teach your clients how you would handle this, what it would look like. And the two main objections that financial clients have around giving referrals is they're concerned about confidentiality, and they don't know how you're going to handle it because you never told them what it would look like. And so you want to make sure that you talk with all your clients, or at least your A clients, the ones you want to multiply and replicate, about what it would look like, how you would handle it. So we don't have a lot of time, so I have a report for you. You can get the verbiage, what it would sound like, tweak it, fine tune it, make it your own. But again, if you go to referralcoach.com/resources, you can get that. Take a look at it. You might like it the way I express it. You might want to tweak it yourself. But now all of your clients, or all the clients you want to know how you would handle this: confidential, handle with care, right? They're not going to feel bad. They're not going to regret, introducing you. And that's what they need to hear from you. How many referrals, introductions are you not getting because you never took the time to explain to your clients what it would look like so they would feel comfortable? All right, so let's talk about asking without begging, without looking like this little pooch, right? Because I know you don't want to look needy, you don't want to look unsuccessful. Look, why do most financial professionals not ask for referrals or introductions? You know, I've been teaching this for 25 years, and here's something I know. You are smart and confident. You would not be in this business if you were not smart and confident. But what I found with even very smart and confident people, when it comes to being proactive, they turn into a bowl of quivering jello. It's like all of a sudden that smarts and confidence go out the window. I'm coaching a guy right now, Dennis, 27 years in the business, been pretty dang successful because he's got a nice target market, which is, it's always easier to get referrals in a target market. That's another webinar for a future time, but he never really asked, and so now we're getting him comfortable with that because he had the wrong belief around this, and so we explode some of that mistaken thinking and limiting beliefs, and then you can get proactive. So I teach what I call a VIPS method, or the VIPS method. You can remember this by thinking, who are the VIPs of my business? VIPS, right? So the V we've already talked about. That's the check-in, that's the value discussion. This is something you want to do whether you're going to ask referrals or not. This is something you always want to engage in because it's part of the culture of creating just a better, more engaged relationship. I is treat the request with importance. Why? Because the work you do is important, and because how you put it out there will determine how they receive it. If you put this out in a weak, wishy-washy way, it's not going to get received well. So how do you treat it with confidence? Well, make sure you don't run out of time. Meeting times meet expectations. Always run a meeting from an agenda. You'll always run a better meeting and not run out of time when you work from an agenda. And then don't send signals that the meeting is over until the meeting is really over. So I recommend and put the words value discussion, not at the end of the meeting, maybe the next to last or the next to next to last, so that it's built into the meeting. You're not consciously or unconsciously sending signals that this is the last item. They start to disengage, and it becomes an oh, by the way conversation as opposed to something that's actually built into the conversation. And then, don't be apologetic. Believe in the value. One of the ways to do that is to bring back the why, right? If you shared it with them before, remind them you shared it with them. If you haven't shared it with them, you can hit it up right now. I'm on a mission to help people like yourself make decisions that are in their best interest that they might not make without me because they don't know. And everything we do is all about helping people make decisions that are in their best interest, and I'm on a mission to do this. So just coming from that place of importance, it will help you feel better and you're going to get a better response. P is permission to brainstorm. This softens the approach a little bit. Rather than plowing ahead, you make sure they're okay with the conversation. And you'll hear me do it in a second. S is suggest names and categories. Coming prepared is critical. In the virtual world, it's even more critical. Why? Because your meetings are usually a little shorter. You're not there in person where you can do a real kind of good quality brainstorming. So you want to come really prepared for this conversation. I mean, you always want to, but in the virtual world, it's even more important. And you want to stop making the mistake. You've made it, I've made it, we've all made it. Who do you know we can help, right? Who else should know about the important work I do? Who might benefit from the work we do, right? You know what I'm talking about. And look, does lightning strike occasionally and you get lucky? Yeah, but most of the time it fizzles, doesn't it? So here's my way of doing it. You got to hit the bullseye. The bullseye is specific people they know. That's where you start this, right? Probably in most cases, it's going to be people they've mentioned in a previous appointment. So some questions you want to be asking early on with brand new prospects. And some of these maybe you're already asking. Who are some people in your life most affected by the financial decisions you make? That's kind of standard financial advisor question, right? Who are folks in your life who you respect the financial decisions they've made? Now, see, the more context you have about your prospect or client, the better you can serve them. But you can also start to develop a little bit of an inventory of other people that you can bring up later in the conversation, right? If they're a business owner, does the industry have an association? Are they involved in the association? You can look up the board of directors, other people in the association, and or are they active in the community and philanthropic interests? You can also look up other members, board of directors, et cetera there. And of course, you always want to find out about their CPA and the relationship they have with their CPA. Is their CPA another trusted advisor who they may actually run your ideas by them first? Well, if that's the case, you better have a little relationship with that CPA when that happens, right? So this is a way to collect that inventory of possibilities. And so you come with people that they know. And then always, the kind of very close second, close to the bullseye is money in motion categories, life events, coming prepared. You may know some people they know you can suggest. You may not. Maybe you got a few categories, but you want to narrow the focus. The more narrow, the better, and you're priming the pump, and then you can move out a little bit. LinkedIn works best when you're targeting a specific market. And I'll tell you what, if you request the slides, I'll send you a guide I just wrote about how to use LinkedIn in a target market. And I think you find it very helpful. And that's where LinkedIn tends to work the best. And then you can get to open-ended brainstorming, but not right away, right? You grow into that through the conversation. You could say, look, that's a couple ideas I had. Who do you think should know about the work I do? Or is there anybody else that comes to mind? Yeah, then you can do it, but you don't start with that, right? You start with the bullseye. So
Yeah,
George,
Bill,
I'm glad you said, yeah.
Before you jump in there, I just say that put a plug in. I mean, we here are working with a lot of advisors around the country and helping advisors find those clients, whether it's through our detailed market analysis where we'll do population densities, we'll use Google Analytics, Facebook marketing, LinkedIn, other social media outlets in order to find clients and do it on a smart basis. So absolutely agree. That's something that intertwines with today's conversation about trying to find the right clients and then how to ask for referrals. But just know we got a lot of great resources here and at IAMS. So talk to your marketer if you're interested.
Yeah, wonderful, good. I mean, that's the reason they work with someone like you guys, because you're not just helping them with the products, you're helping them build their business. So, it sounds like this. George, I'm glad to see the value in the work we're doing. I'm glad I got a happy client, and you're just the kind of folks we like to work with. The value of professional advice. You followed our recommendations. It's everything is cool, and because of that, I was hoping we could brainstorm a little, just put our heads together and see if we can identify a few folks that you think at least should be aware of the work we do. I actually have a couple ideas, a couple folks you mentioned last time we got together, and a couple other ideas I'd love to run by you if that's okay. Oh, well, I guess so. Who did I talk about last time, right? So it creates curiosity. I mean, is that going to kill a relationship? No. What's the worst thing they're going to say? Well, I'm not sure I feel comfortable with this. And we got a whole methodology on how to explore that. But, the worst case scenarios are going to back off. And I'm sure you've experienced where you've asked and you didn't get at the time, they weren't ready for whatever reason, and they were ready the next time, right? Hey, I got somebody for you. So what we know about the ask is that the worst thing that happens is it plants the opportunity for later. And in terms of your escape plan, I call it the emergency exit. My friend Barry Alberstein calls it the graceful exit. And really, you're just planting the seed, right? That's fine. Look, next time you identify someone you think should at least be aware of what I do, just don't keep me secret. Makes sense. Oh yeah, it's fine. Or I just want you to know I'm never too busy to see if I can be a resource for other people you care about. Fair enough. Yep, fair enough. And then you're done. You're not going to hurt a relationship. You're not going to lose a client, and you're going to plant the seed. And then sometimes it turns into unsolicited referrals later. Now, to avoid objections, to not get any of those, just don't ask. I mean, it pretty much works every time. If you ask, they can say no in all its forms. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. So you got some low-hanging fruit where you can start to use this. Clients who love you, right? Make a love list. Maybe it's 10, 20, 25, whatever. These are folks, the joke is you can bumble through this and they'll still give you referrals, right? It's an easy conversation. It's the path of least resistance. And then anyone who's already done it, right? Anyone who's already given you a referral, made an introduction. Maybe you didn't even ask. Laura, last time we got together, you introduced me to your sister, and I appreciate that. And I know she told you we're working together. I didn't even ask. Thank you. I guess I am asking now. I got a couple ideas to run by you. Would that be okay? Right? Go back to these folks. That is your path of least resistance, low-hanging fruit. Practice it with those folks. So again, if you want the slides to get some of this verbiage we're going over, just send it to Bill Cates at referralcoach.com. Put F&G or put IAMS or put both, and I know which PowerPoint deck to send to you. Quick mention about my book, Radical Relevance. If you get the book, audio, paperback, Kindle, you also will gain access to the Radical Relevance Toolkit, where we have a lot of tools. You can just look there about building a better website, LinkedIn profile, value proposition, lots of tools. I had a lot of material that I wanted to put in the book, but if I put it all in there, the book would have been too too long and nobody would have read it, and that does nobody any good. So in the first couple pages of the book, or in the first minute and 48 seconds of the audio, I tell you how to go get the Radical Relevance Toolkit. So just wanted you to be aware that that's what you get. All right, so let's kind of finish up with getting introduced. You know, Food and Drug Administration is out there a lot more than it was a year ago, right? And you know, you already probably know this, that when a Food and Drug Administration is evaluating a drug for the market, it wants to know, is the drug safe and effective, right? I've been teaching this for about 10 years, and now all of a sudden everybody knows the answer. Well, this is the same principle, the same philosophy, perspective that we want with our introductions. We want to feel safe for the people making the introduction and to whom we're being introduced. And obviously, we'd like to have it be effective. We'd like to pique their interest, right? So I just want to give you a quick template of what I call the electronic handshake. And I have a place where you can go get this for free. So I know we only have a couple minutes, but you know, put your you know, that you're getting introduced. You're getting introduced with a handshake, right? George Jones meet Laura Smith, right? Laura's been doing some work. Here's how I know Laura. Here's how I know George. I highly recommend, you know, you speak with Laura. You want to get some of that verbiage in there. You can create a little template. You can send it to your client. Say, can you emulate something like this? Yeah, I could do this. This is the best way to get introduced during the virtual world. And short of an in-person introduction, it's really the best way to get introduced anyway, because right now we're not doing the in-person introductions. So so if you go, again, I've shared this with you before, if you go to referralcoach.com/resources, right there with lots of other scripts and word tracks, you can get a scripting on how to make this electronic handshake work for you. So look, either you're dabbling or you're committed to this, right? Most people know what to do with a referral if they trip over it, but very few people have committed to it, have really decided this is how I'm going to build my business. I'm going to build my business based on how people want to meet me, an introduction from someone else they already trust. So thank you, F&G. Thank you, IAMS. My pleasure to be with you. Finished on time. Caught Chris by surprise.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bill, for the presentation. I'm going to launch the last polling question here about if people would like Bill Cates' fast referral script.
Oh yeah, get this,
the
guys.
LinkedIn guide. So it's another great thing to get. If you're interested in that, go ahead and check yes. Great thing to get to you. And I want to thank F&G for the generous sponsorship for the Wayfinding 2020 series. I'm certain that all of our attendees picked up some great insights and a better understanding of the F&G product, as well as Bill's insights in today's referrals focus program. I'm just committed to helping you grow your sales through a collaborative and customized model so you can reach your fullest potential. And I'd encourage you here to go ahead and reach out to your IAMS marketer at 800-255-5055 and ask for more information about that product, the Flex Accumulation product, any of Bill's materials today, and also the information I shared about production builders, marketing incentives, and that free customized market analysis program that we can do to see if your advertising is aligned with your target demographic and to ensure that the right marketing message is connecting with them. If you're interested in any of the past programs from the Wayfinding series, you can just reach out to your IAMS marketer. Again, 800-255-5055. We certainly can get those programs to you, those recordings. Thank you again, both Luke and Bill. Great presentation, and thanks for everybody tuning in today for the partnership and this Wayfinding series.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.